Hi guys, welcome to the second session of Practical Approach to Java. In the last session, we saw how we can create, compile and run a Java program using a simple editor such as Notepad. But in order to run more complex application with more number of classes, we need an integrated development environment or an IDE. So the most common IDE is Eclipse, which is an open source, and you can download that by going to eclipse.org and then going to downloads. Here you see you have the Eclipse for different versions. You can just download the Java EE latest one and for any of the platforms that you wish. And once you download the file, it will be a zipped file which you need to extract into your local directory, and the folder is going to look something like this, and you're going to have an Eclipse icon. You don't need to install anything, so once you have unzipped it, you can just use it as it is. So the very first time you run Eclipse, it's going to actually ask for a workspace setup. A workspace is a directory where all your Eclipse projects will be saved. So I already have my workspace set up, but just for the sake of clarity, I'll just show how to set up a workspace. So you can create any folder in either desktop or C drive or anything, and let's call this. Practical approach to Java, and I'll switch my workspace from my current existing one to the folder which I just created. So you can go to File and switch workspace and say Other. So here you can select the workspace. You can have multiple workspaces. So desktop, Practical approach to Java. Say OK. So the Eclipse just reboots because it's changing the workspace. It's always a good idea to maintain different workspaces for either different users or different projects, and it's very easy to shift from one to the other. So currently this folder doesn't have any projects, so you'll be getting a screen something like this with no projects. So this is how your Eclipse is going to, sorry about that. So let us try to create the same example which we did in the last session which we ran using command prompt. Let us try to run it using the Eclipse IDE. So first and foremost, you have to create an Java project. Any Java project which is a standalone application, like which is not a web application, is requires exactly one class which has the main function. So let us call the project as first project, and say finish. It's just asking for us to save the perspective either as a Java or Java EE. I'll just say no, let it be in Java EE perspective. And if you open the project, you'll see you already have a source folder. It's a good idea to create a package of your own, or the project creates a default package by itself. So I'll just show how it creates a default project. First and foremost, you need to have a class. Let us give the class name test, and I'll say which methods or stub you like to create. I'll just select this so that the public static void main method is generated automatically. Say finish. So if you see, like I said in the previous session, you have the class name as test.java, and the file name is also the test. So the class name should match the file name, which is mandatory. And here you have the automatically generated main method, but it doesn't have anything here. So let's execute what we did in the last class. So once you typed in, you can save the class. And in Eclipse, the good thing is you don't have to compile and run separately. You can directly run it. It automatically compiles and creates the object file and then runs that object file. So just right click on the file and say run as Java application. So here if you see, you have the console window here, and the output is generated here. So exactly what we did on the command prompt, we just did it using the Eclipse IDE. So here you don't see that there is a dot class file generated, but in your directory, if you go, there will be a separate dot class generated alongside your .java. Okay, one more thing which I said I'll be explaining is what this string args is. Main is accepting certain arguments, an array of strings. So these are nothing but command line arguments which you can pass when you're running the program. So one way to set the command line arguments is go to run configurations and go to arguments tab, and here you have program arguments. So here you can give as many number of string arguments as you want. So let me give hello world and say apply and run. So right now I'm not using the arguments, so it runs the same way as it had run previously, but now let me try to use the arguments. So I have args, which is an array, so I need to access one particular object of the array. So I will be args of 0. So it needs to, I have hello world as two arguments. So args of 0 is the first argument, which is hello, so it needs to print only hello. So if you say again right click and run as Java application, so you have hello here, and if you change it to 1, and you can run it directly from here. Now once you run it, once you've done the right click and running it, you already have the project here, so you can run it directly like this. So this is the first example of a project in Eclipse, and how you can run a Java application. That's all for this session. If you have any doubts, you can post it on the comments and I will reply back to you. Thank you.